So we go to meet Lance Hedrick. I did really need to have a photo with him. So we all got a photo together, and somebody spilled coffee all over Lance. He was wearing shorts, so it got on his legs.
Backing up to take the picture, and he goes, ah!
There was real pain in his face. You could see it.
He was a champ, though. He went right back to taking the photo. He smiled like nothing happened.
Boom, expo, open. Here come the people, scalded. You should be ripping 18s, 20s, maybe 13s. Have a seat, Jack. All right,
most coffee podcasts that I listen to tend to be pretty open to other people's preferences on how they enjoy coffee.
Okay, well,
We're here to change that.
Oh, you
Never has been.
Well, here's the thing, Adam. I'm open to other people enjoying coffee however they want.
Don't seem like it.
Well,
Guys, hold on. Smell this. Smell this. Smell it. Come on, come on. What do you smell? Tell me what you smell.
Mug.
smell green.
Open up your mind.
You take the rest of this, Jack. Oh, you want me to
Yeah. Whoa, sideways?
sideways?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, you just made me spill coffee everywhere.
It's all right. We'll live. This table will be fine.
I don't know what I smell. I feel like my
I smell Fruity Pebbles.
You do?
Yeah.
That's crazy because I'm pretty sure that that's a flavor note.
Of this coffee?
Yeah.
Well, is it?
Yeah, keep her. Here's what you got to do, Adam. Here's the trick: is pretend like your face is glued to this mic, and so you can kind of go like this.
You can orbit
like
around
this,
it.
but it orbits
Imagine
around it. Pretend like this is the sun,
Earth,
and this is the Earth, and your mouth is the moon.
Like,
pretend that your mouth is.
if I'm talking to you, but you don't want to talk over here because it records in the front. You know what I'm saying? But
I feel like you guys should maybe be more accommodating to my movements.
how about you bring it up with the mic manufacturers?
See, Adam, when you're talking to Jack, here's a perfect example. When you're talking to Jack, don't do this. Do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
I wasn't talking to Jack. Okay.
No. Yeah, there we go.
We'll
All right,
figure
hey
it
guys,
out.
if you're trying
Make it
to,
work.
hello everybody.
Hello.
My name's Nick. Welcome back to EPCP EP11.
I'm never calling it that. Equal Parts Coffee Podcast,
EPC
episode 11.
Yeah, EPCP EP11.
Sounds like you're having a
Isn't that
stroke.
kind of crazy?
Yeah.
If you
11's
need any more tips about how to talk into a microphone, we're not experts, but
No,
we
don't
talk
ask
it-
us.
But they act like it.
Fair enough.
Fair point.
Yep.
That's a fair point. I'll receive that. I'll take that.
Message received.
All right. Well, if you're super confused and like, what the crap, guys? I thought that there was an episode last week. How did you not? We posted some stuff. I'm surprised you didn't see it. Especially, we posted some stuff specifically on the podcast platforms to alert you guys. But we were in Houston last week.
That's true.
So we're having back on Adam Clark. Adam, say hi.
Hello. Did I do that right? Close enough.
That's good enough. So Adam was with us in Houston, and we thought it'd be fun to break it down together.
Yeah.
Rather than just Jack and I.
Yeah.
Jack. Okay, before we get into that,
Yeah.
let's tell us a little bit about this coffee.
Okay, so this coffee is a coffee that I've been excited to try, and we've just been kind of stacked with how much coffee we've been wanting to try on the podcast. So
We've also been busy.
we've been busy.
We had
life.
Well, you
Easter.
got back from your trip, and then we hit Easter.
Yes.
And then we had Houston, and so it was just like boom,
Specialty
boom,
Coffee
boom.
Expo. So a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode, we were talking about how I recently went to California. Not so recent anymore, probably a month and a half ago, however long it was. Anyway, one of my favorite shops that I had been to was this place, Field Day Coffee in San Luis Obispo, and they had this delicious Colombia Gesha, and I just had to buy it.
So
I believe this is a coffee we've actually tasted before from Prodigal, right?
it wasn't
No.
from Prodigal. It was from.
That's right.
Oh, see, you said it was in my head, and then it left.
It was like a bag, and it had like a shimmery plastic
No, I know.
label on it.
Regalia. It was from
Regalia,
Regalia
yes.
Coffee.
That was great.
Yeah, that was really good.
Let me get my buds on this. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
It's just too good.
For our audio listeners, Jack just dumped all his coffee in his lap.
Yeah. If you know me personally, it's really not that surprising. So
Where do you keep your buds?
Yeah. Bro's buds are a little lower than mine.
it's like the jet lag from like the 1 hour time difference in Houston, I think.
We've been back for
Putting my
several
buds
days.
on that and then just tips it over and pours it on.
It's gonna be my something's on that.
If you guys can't tell, I needed this coffee. So yeah, I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna like focus on this. So
Yeah, nobody look at Jack. So make sure you can get his lips around that.
So you were out for the conversation for a while?
Yeah, so this is the same coffee. It's not super often that you get to try the same coffee from different roasters, but
yeah, super cool.
I mean, even the same coffee can taste wildly different depending on how places roast it, even if both places roast it well, too.
yeah,
Different places just have different water that they're basing things off of. They have different taste preferences, different roasters, everything. So,
yeah. It's cool to see how people interpret the coffee differently.
hmm and just even when you're onboarding a coffee, you're like, okay, we have this new coffee. How do I want to roast this?
Yeah.
It's
I
just,
mean, you got to start somewhere.
and everybody's starting place is probably going to be different.
Yeah.
So,
That's why
And they're-
cupping is so important.
yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is. It does share. I remember we had this coffee with Ben.
Yes.
We had this coffee with Ben Martin, in episode 4,
Shout out.
I believe. Yeah, shout out. It does share that same kind of spirit. Like I remember saying that it was kind of gin-like, and like it's got this like crisp floral taste, but it is a little bit sweeter. I feel like.
I feel like this one has a little bit more. Pardon me while I'm adjusting my mic here. A little bit more acidity to it.
Yeah. It is also hard to judge because this is a little bit like the age that we're tasting this. There's still a lot of good stuff left in this cup, but
Yeah.
the age that we're tasting this is not the same as the age that we tasted the last coffee
Yeah.
off of its roast. So
Exactly.
it is going to be a little bit different, but
Yep.
it's maybe a little bit. I feel like the body is a little bit mellower. Where
This
I feel
time
like
around?
yeah,
Really?
where I feel like the body of the other one was a lot thinner. Where this one is like a thicker.
Yeah.
Are you comparing this to
The last coffee.
the last coffee you had from a different roaster? Not comparing this to a time you had this exact coffee just
Yes,
earlier?
we had this coffee from a different
I
roaster.
see.
Yeah.
7
episodes ago.
Whoa.
It tastes more
Wait, 7?
full.
Wasn't
I'm
it,
not gonna do the math
Wasn't
there.
it 6 episodes ago?
Yeah, whatever. I was doing 11 minus 7 equals 4, but like that's not how it works. So, anyway, what do you think?
Wait,
of
that
this
is
coffee?
how it works.
I don't know. I don't want to get into a
No, I don't
mathematics
think-
debate here.
No, I'm not the kind of person to even start a mathematics debate. So
If you are smarter than any of us, comment down below
how many episodes? How many
ago
episodes ago was episode
that was?
4? So basically, if you just
We
graduated from high school, actually no. If you
4th grade,
if you-
3rd grade.
if you're a 4th grader out there, can you just tell us how many episodes ago episode 4 was? Thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's kind of. First thing I think of is dry.
Dry?
Yeah.
It's
In
got a
what
dry
way?
finish.
In a good way? Bad way?
Depends on if you like that in coffees. I do.
Sure.
I usually do.
And I feel like anaerobic wash coffees tend to have that. I've
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah. I don't like to drink every coffee like that. And that's certainly not like, there are other types of drinks where I do not want them to be dry, but coffee is one of them where I kind of like my
Yeah.
water, for example. I don't
You
like
like-
my water taste dry. It makes me want to
Oh,
have
sure.
to keep drinking more and more and more and more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just like
I like water to be refreshing.
You want your
Sure.
water to be juicy. People aren't talking enough about your water taste, but like water should be juicy. You know, it should be thick and juicy. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because sometimes water's too thin, right? There's not enough minerals in it. Sometimes water that is dry, I feel like tends to have more iron, more calcium, just a heavier mineral
More
content,
sodium for sure.
more sodium.
Make it dry.
I feel like juicy water, like the water at Mundo's is juicy.
Yeah, we're getting.
Are
into
you
the
talking about
weeds
the
here.
water or the coffee that the water makes?
No, the water.
Because this,
water
this
is
actually
sweet
takes
and
us
juicy.
to Expo if we're ready to start talking about that.
Let's get into it.
That I did a cool experiment, which is really easy to do at home. But there's a lot of people at Expo that are water people.
Yep.
And trying to sell you water filtration systems because that's really important for coffee. And one person was doing a test, and I hopped in into the test, and he was giving us 3 cups of water and then 1 sparkling cup to cleanse our palate between. And 1 was high mineral content, 1 was filtered, which I think is what their product was, and then 1 was low mineral content.
Probably distilled or just low minerals.
He said it was smart water.
Got it.
I didn't know smart water was low mineral. I thought that most bottled water you'd get would be high mineral, like spring water, but I don't know. That's what he said, unless I heard wrong. But we all had different answers as far as which one was our favorite. And for me, my favorite was the high mineral content water to drink because the low mineral content did leave a dry taste in your mouth, which is interesting. I thought it would be the opposite. It left a dry taste in your mouth, and he said that's because they want you to have to keep drinking more. And that's what smart water does.
Big W.
Yeah,
big water.
I
Gets
mean,
you again.
like
is that
big
a
L.
bad thing to like drink more water though?
Yeah, but it's like I think it's telling you that maybe you're not getting. Maybe it's your body telling you you're not getting the minerals that you need to be getting out of your water. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
like if you
Sure.
But then what he did after, which was the whole point of the test, was to see how your water, the contents of your water, affect the flavor when something's added. So we're thinking about coffee here, but he did lemon juice. So he put a few drops of lemon juice in each sample, and the high mineral content, all the acidity was kind of just neutralized, and it was pretty. It was not very acidic. You could taste the essence of lemon, but you couldn't taste the acidity. And then the filtered water was quite balanced, and the low mineral content water was very lemony, juicy, acidic. And I think his point was try to say you want a good balance. I enjoyed the low mineral content water with lemon juice, even though I didn't like it on its own. But with lemon juice, it was really bright, intense, juicy. I really liked it. And I think that's why I like my water when I make coffee to be very low mineral content, because I like complex, juicy, bright flavors.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of one other thing, but I think we should probably go through the expo, like what happened.
Agreed. Let's kind of start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of go through what we did. So we left Traverse City Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Can I throw one thing in before?
Do it.
Just because it's relevant to our whole saga here.
Okay.
Before we left for Expo, I bought a pair of jeans at Old Navy.
Brand new.
That was kind of the first start of this whole thing.
As
that's
you do.
important. That's
Okay.
like that's important. Like in the movie, like that's going to happen in the first 2 minutes of exposition. That's some of your exposition there.
Yep.
And
keep
here's
that in
here's a
mind.
little bit more exposition. I had a pair of pants from Old Navy that I wore the whole trip that were beginning to rip near the buttocks area.
But that's all we're going to leave it at, and we'll come back to it later.
A little bit of foreshadowing.
So, Mundo's team flying out.
Us three,
and my father.
Brother
and
Ben.
Brother
Father
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah. It's a very spiritual trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flew out.
There was a priest on our plane.
How was the how was the first flight for you when we flew to Chicago?
Well, so we had to, since we're coming out of Traverse City.
Yeah.
If you're not from Traverse City, it's not a huge area. So like, there are direct flights to some places, but not a lot. So there wasn't.
And if there are, it's kind of expensive a lot of the time.
Yeah. So there wasn't a direct flight to Houston. So we had to connect in Chicago, which if you've been to the Chicago airport, you probably don't like the Chicago airport, but we had to connect there. It's like a 45-minute flight there, and then from there, had a 2-hour flight to Houston. Yep. So the planes that we leave Traverse City on are much smaller. They're like the 2 seats per row, and there's just 2 rows. It's kind of like a big school bus.
Think tight, small metal can flying through the sky at hundreds of miles an hour with a bunch of
Can you guys
sardines packed into it.
Can you guys sleep on airplanes or no?
It's more like, it's kind of like, can you sleep after you're punched in the face? Right? It's like,
Depends on
it's
how
like
hard
I
I'm
hope
being
that
Sometimes
it knocks
you don't
me
get a
out.
choice.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
Like that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
is it sleeping if you're just unconscious because you're so miserable?
That was kind of like
It's
what it
kind of
was.
just like,
when I came back
please knock
from
me out.
It's when your body just shuts down.
it's kind of like when I came back from California. We had for some reason a connecting flight to, first it was Phoenix, and then it was North Carolina back to Traverse City, or actually Grand Rapids, and it was an overnight flight. So like we arrived at 11 a.m. in Grand Rapids. We left at 7 p.m. So it was like you had to sleep, otherwise you're not going to make the 2-hour drive back to Traverse City. So
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, and I've always like gotten motion sick pretty easy. I think it's genetic. I don't know, but like especially when I can't see movement in a
Sure.
plane, and like all of a sudden they're just like pulling G's, like turning
Yeah.
or something. I'm like
sideways, up and down, spinning around. Yeah.
So
I get like car sick, but for some reason in an airplane I don't get that at all. It's just uncomfortable, really.
Yeah,
I can sleep, but it's not good.
if I'm like near a window and it's the daytime, I can do all right in a plane. Like as long as like when we're turning or moving, I can look out and like my eyes can tell my brain
exactly.
what kind of movement we're doing. But when I'm just like in the middle and we're just like dropping hundreds of feet or something in a moment, and it's like which direction is that movement happening? That's when my
Are
brain
we
can't
currently upside down or not?
Yeah. So we left from there. We boarded the plane. And we sat there for a little bit, and then they were like, "There's an engine issue. We're gonna deboard the plane." So we deboarded.
We're like,
deboarded,
great. We're not
deplaned.
gonna make.
Deplaned.
Well, we had like a 2-hour layover in Chicago. We
Yeah.
had no idea where the terminal was, so we were like, if this gets delayed too long, we're not gonna make it.
Yep. Anyway, they were like, "Cool, it's fixed." So we got back on, and we made it to Chicago in time.
Luckily, the next gate was literally within eyesight.
It
Like,
was.
You could,
It was.
you walked out. It was right there.
Yeah, it was right there, but it was also kind of tight. We got there. We like needed
30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think before it took off. So
yeah,
we were like,
we needed
right
some
there.
food. There was like a Chicago dog place. Dog is right. I don't know how your guys' burgers were.
I got a sandwich. So
Yeah,
maybe it's because you're getting a burger at a hot dog place. I don't know.
I got a hot dog.
You got a hot
and
dog?
it was Chicago
It was-
dog.
Like,
You know
not
what I'm
good?
saying? I did not enjoy it.
Shoot.
It was like it
Shoot.
was like somebody took a pre-cooked hot dog and
Oh,
just like
no.
touched it to a griddle and then threw it in a bun, and it was like
Yeah, I mean, you never know with those airport restaurants. It could be the best food you've
Yeah.
ever had or give
Can
you
it?
horrible.
Do you really believe that? That the airport
That-
food could be the best food?
I know
Yeah.
that there are really good airport restaurants.
Really?
I know that there are.
Oh.
I don't know that I've ever eaten that one.
You're rolling the dice. It could be the absolute worst, or it could be the absolute best
Yeah.
food you've ever had.
yeah.
Most of the time, for me, it's mid.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
For
like
sure.
rolling two dice, and like if you get a 1, it's going to be the best
Yeah. Your odds are not great.
food you've ever had.
Your odds are not great. My sandwich was good, though.
Yeah,
It had
it's good.
a lot of jalapenos on it, which I love jalapenos, but like right before flight is
Jalapeno
kind of
plain. That's
hard.
crazy.
But it was good. It was good.
Cool. So anyway, yep, that flight, and then the flight to Houston was like 2 hours, and that was a rough flight. There were some storm cells moving all along the country, and like especially down near Houston, there was a big rainstorm. But I felt
Yeah.
like we had so much turbulence.
I slept the whole time.
See, I was like,
I knew we had turbulence, but turbulence doesn't affect me very much. But
it doesn't unless it's like continual, and it was like dark outside. So I just like had my brain had no context. It's just a constant movement. I was
Yeah.
like, it's like literally, I was miserable. So
yeah.
So yeah, we got into Houston. I feel like it got pretty interesting once we got there. We got there really late, like 12:30.
Yeah.
And it was just sheer chaos. I feel like part of that is maybe just kind of what comes with traveling with you guys. I don't know, just like just like I feel like.
Oh, do you mean because I was in the bathroom up until the final moments?
Yeah.
that
Well,
I had to get
I
out?
feel like all of you guys. It's a mix of people of like. I feel like you guys are both like super like this is what we have to do, like driven or just like completely distracted. And I feel like any one of you could be any of those things at any moment. And so I feel like there's always a mix. Like not everybody is always eyes locked on what we have to do.
It's either this is a very big deal or this is.
So
not
for
that big of a
context,
deal.
we obviously had to get an Uber to our hotel we were staying from the airport.
Well, we walked out and your dad was planning on just hopping in taxis. No taxis.
No,
I don't know. Are they just in the movies? Do taxis exist anymore?
It's 2025.
Well, yeah, I think things have
taxi
changed.
Ubers are taxis now.
I know the
there
last
are
time my
taxis,
dad's
but
been
I
on a
don't
plane.
think-
Wait, no, you guys went on a plane in New York. Never mind.
But it was just like the middle of the night, and there was just so many people outside the airport, and it was just like hollering and yelling at each other and stuff. And it's like, what is happening out here?
Yeah. Whistle. Was there whistles? No,
Yeah,
it was somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Everybody
It was
knew
just-
way more than we did.
Yeah. There was something going down.
Anyway, Adam was like, I'm gonna
Traffic.
oop my pants.
That's not true. I have more self-control than that.
So he went to a bathroom, which was like probably 2-3 minutes away or whatever, and then the Uber was coming, and yeah. We should. I feel like we shouldn't be getting into too much detail about every moment because it's going to take.
Yeah, we're finally this much into the podcast and we've made it to Houston.
Yeah, we've made it to Houston. Basically, the Uber driver got there and Adam like boom was there like as we were loading into the car.
That it was
because I'm like texting him and your dad's like,
typically, you would think it'd be fine. The Uber
frustrated.
They typically wait. I think 2 minutes max for you. Yeah. But with all of that craziness going on, they were doing construction, so there was no extra.
Well, and there was a lady
cars.
that was just like the
yelling.
Uber, like the Uber's like, get out of here, go.
So if we didn't board right away, I'm sure he would have just left.
That's just the way everybody at the airport acted. It was just
hostile.
like, get the crap out of here, go, move.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Welcome to Houston.
Absolute
Get the crap out of my
hostility.
airport.
Yeah.
It was like it's really
like,
late at night for
Houston's. Like you think of Houston, you think of Texas, you think of cattle, and that's pretty much what it was like.
Yeah. We'll get into that on our way out.
cattle.
But I will say my Houston airport experience. The airport is a lot nicer than the Chicago airport. Meanest airport staff I've ever met, guys. Is it just because we were only there at like the like bad hours of the night,
Probably.
like early in the morning, late at night?
Yeah,
maybe, and they're just hate their jobs. I don't know, but
we made it to the hotel. It past 1 a.m. or something like that. And
crashed.
Nice hotel. We could not figure out to turn the lights on, but we were too tired to care.
Yeah, the bathroom light wasn't like flip the switch.
Going to the bathroom in the darkness, the good experience. Taking out contacts is pretty difficult.
The nice thing is, if you're in the dark, you can just kind of go, and like, nobody can blame you for missing. It's like it's dark, right? Am I right?
I don't.
I think there's enough ambient light to like. I would blame you.
Oh, I see.
The next person who walks in, I think they could blame you.
Anyway,
never mind.
We made it.
Mm-hmm. So
when do we get to the expo?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Next day, go to expo, scan their passes. There's quite a lot going on there. People kind of just like crammed into a room.
Yeah.
There
wasn't. I mean, you're talking about like right before they let you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, but like there was not really any pushing and shoving. It was just a lot of great people.
Pretty civil.
Yeah. We're all just like shoulder to shoulder, but
we all just want some coffee.
Nobody got trampled. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody got trampled.
Nobody's out here to like,
I mean, they started it at 10 a.m. So I think at that point, everyone had at least one cup of coffee in their system. That's why everyone was behaving.
Yeah. I didn't have any good coffee in my system yet.
Whoa.
You didn't like?
Oh wait!
That's a little
that
harsh.
morning.
Whoa!
Bro, technical.
I wasn't thinking about. No. That was
Stand Back Coffee. I'd like to formally apologize for the words and actions of my associate here.
Well, I was thinking of the next morning. That coffee was pretty good. I was a little sad that the cortado I got didn't have any art in it and it was in a paper cup. But that's
they were
they were slammed. The one coffee shop right near the expo.
It's not an excuse.
Place was
you can still make art, but
like
it's
an
happens.
excuse.
It happens.
I'll allow it.
What was pretty sweet?
Pretty
Pretty sweet, and that I've never thought of before. Their line was so long. They had a guy coming out just like pouring people samples of coffee. And
that was awesome.
It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
not to jump ahead, but I think that's something that we learned from a little bit.
Oh yeah,
is just that form of hospitality.
We learned a lot
in the line hospitality.
Yeah. So yeah, ribbon gets cut. Didn't see it, but it happened.
Heard it. I saw the big scissors.
I saw scissors, and I was like, I think they're cutting a ribbon over there.
Yep. Cut the umbilical cord. And everybody went in.
And Expo was born.
Expo was
Well, that happened.
born.
Okay.
This is the last coffee expo
cord after
ever.
Babies.
Because they're now changing to World of Coffee.
Yeah,
it's a new name.
Yeah, World of Coffee has been a thing, and they're merging with it. The United States Expo is just going to become a World of Coffee.
I mean,
location.
it was several years ago that the Specialty Coffee Association of America, or the SCAA, I think, merged with the SCA. So now it's just the SCA. And
yeah.
So I think that's
anyway,
where it's going.
We go in there and we're like, okay, let's get some coffee somewhere.
Yeah.
And so we went over to the
First
Onyx
stop.
booth. We were one of the first people right there near the Onyx booth. And Onyx is like bringing out their heavy hitters.
So A game.
Right? Like Onyx has like a ton of very popular people in coffee that work for them.
Celebrities.
Yeah, kind of coffee celebrities.
If you pay attention to them at all, you would recognize everyone there.
Yeah, I mean because they are influencers in coffee, or they're barista champions and that kind of
Knees
stuff.
were buckling, palms were sweaty. It was
You could visibly see
crazy.
Adam. He was extremely nervous.
Freaking out.
And
freaking out.
for some reason, he was the person.
Oh, man.
All right. Here, you can tell this, Adam. You can say what happened.
So we go to meet Lance Hedrick.
Great guy.
Yeah, super cool guy. I wanted to take a picture with him because I try and... Sorry?
If you don't know who Lance Hedrick is, he's somebody who's like very, very influential in the coffee world. He does a lot of research and just is really meticulous about the stuff that he uses and talks about.
Yep.
And he kind of does some education.
He's very data driven when it comes to coffee.
So we have personally learned quite a lot from him. Like his videos are like, they're very in depth and they're very helpful. So we've watched a lot of his stuff and we've learned quite a bit from him.
Yeah.
So, and we never met him before. So
yeah, that's who Lance Hedrick is. And so I want to take a picture. I try not to be a fan who is just like, get me what I want and then let's leave. But I did really need to have a photo with him. So we all got a photo together and somebody spilled coffee all over Lance. Like he was wearing shorts, so it got on his legs.
we're like backing up to take the picture.
He cries
and
out.
He goes, ah! Arms out.
There was
back.
real pain in his face. You could see it.
He was wearing shorts. It was right
So-
down his calf.
Yeah. So that was a big mess. Had to clean it up. But yeah. Anyway, so
He is a champ, though. He went right back to taking the photo.
Yeah, I
He
know.
smiled like nothing happened.
But it was like, boom, expo, open. Here come the people. Scalded.
I mean,
Yeah.
you would think, okay,
Honestly,
you might
coffee
get
was
ruffled
first-
around.
yeah, his
People
first
might
few
It's like,
be
moments of
weird,
hey, Lance,
but
how's it going? And then scalded.
Yep.
So
you wouldn't
and
think
we never
you would
figured
get
out who actually did it, but it was, it's kind of hard to be at the scene of the crime.
To be fair, what the heck was this lady doing? There was like a 12-inch gap behind
Some say
us.
it was my fault. Some say it was this other lady who was actively spilling the coffee onto his leg. It was her fault.
So there's
You
this
know,
like
world may
12-inch
never
gap
know.
behind us between the countertop where the
I lean
espresso
one way,
machine
though.
is and where we are taking the photo. And this lady is trying to weasel her way in there. Like, what did you say? And she was like really low to the ground too.
whether or not Adam smacked the coffee out of her hand, it doesn't
That's
matter.
irrelevant.
She shouldn't have been back there.
Because was it my coffee?
I
my
think
coffee
that she was
never
trying to
landed on
photobomb.
Lance.
I think she's trying to photobomb.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that
I
was
definitely let her take the blame, and I do feel kind of bad for it. I feel like maybe we should have shared it a little bit more than we did.
So, Lance, if you're seeing this for some reason, we are sorry. We hope that didn't greatly impact your health and ability to enjoy your weekend. And
Yeah, I
that
saw you smiling later, so I hope
couldn't have been that bad.
Hope that smile was real.
Not to-
I mean, we all know as being baristas, you can hide a considerable amount of pain.
You can hide
Dude,
so much pain
pouring
behind a smile.
pouring hot water over your hands and
Dude,
just acting
like
like
that,
it
like
never
the batch,
happened.
like the batch brew tsunami. Open that sucker up.
And then you spin around to face the guests, and you just got this fakest smile on your
My
face.
hand is red and shaking. And I'm
Nick,
pouring.
you know you're not supposed to pull the basket out until it's done brewing, right?
I was trying to turn it off. Anyway,
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
So yeah. What were
Other
you guys'
than that, great
What were you
experience.
guys' like first impressions?
So
Expo, walking in, walking
this is
around?
the first time ever going to Expo. I had a lot of preconceived thoughts in my head because I've been wanting to go since 2017. And it was really cool. A lot bigger than I actually expected. Very bright.
Dude, that is crazy insightful. Adam, do you have anything more to offer than that it was big and bright?
What are we? What was your
I'm
question?
How
definitely-
about your
Oh,
first
yeah.
impressions?
Yeah,
Like
first
just like
impressions.
being
Well,
in there and looking around. And
I mean, I have to agree that the fact that like my first impression was from
big
my
old
perspective,
warehouse.
I've never been to a convention center. So my first impression was wow, this is huge.
You
There's
know
a
what
lot
was
of booths here.
impressive is how hot it was outside and how cool it was inside. That was very nice. I was
HVAC
thinking
cost must have been.
that mean a
through the
huge area and be able to do all that is crazy. But go ahead.
But yeah, I guess also just being able to see people that you've watched videos of and that you've heard about, and being able to actually see, shake their hands, not just shake their hands, but actually talk to them.
Yeah.
Like talking to Alika Lifty, like being able to like talk to him so many times because we've got so many different booths was kind
Yeah.
of crazy. It was like,
shout out Alika.
Yeah.
Sorry if we like scared you. We needed a lot of your wisdom.
Yes.
Alika,
It probably seemed like we were following him around.
I know we
Wait.
weren't. He was just all over the place, and we had so
Five
many
guys
questions.
wearing the exact same shirt and pants.
Thank you for noticing.
Looking
Yeah,
exactly the
we
same.
matched quite a bit.
Following Alika around.
And yeah, that wasn't on purpose. It was a little embarrassing that Alika noticed that. But
Yeah.
Alika is the head trainer at Onyx. He's won some things as far as coffee goes. I couldn't tell you exactly what. I think some Brewers Cup stuff.
Yeah, that's what it looked
But
like to me.
he's pretty well known for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to talk to him a couple of times about some of the stuff that they use in Onyx, and it was really helpful.
It was kind of surreal to just have like normal conversations that you would have like barista to barista, but with people who are like champions. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, yep, and along that vein too, talking to the Valor guys was really cool too.
Yeah, that was also surreal because
Yep.
it's like I only know like your voice,
Yep.
and now I'm seeing your face and
Yep. Riley
stuff.
and Ethan were there. Ross was not there, but we watch their podcast or listen to, and
Mm-hmm.
also like learn a lot from them and the way that they have their systems and stuff. So
Yeah, very insightful podcast.
yeah, there's quite a few people,
Almost as insightful as this one.
probably more.
That's one thing that I really admire about the coffee industry is how much people are willing to share.
Yeah.
For free, just kind of like we're all just kind of helping each other. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Unless we got bills coming in later or something.
Yeah, and then sign up for this coffee course.
Yeah.
yeah. But it was great to like
No,
these
it's
people
great.
that we learn quite a bit from. We follow their stuff because it's just so helpful and they share so much. And so there's a little bit of like it's like, okay, I want to interact with you as a person.
Yep.
But also like in my eyes, you're like kind of a celebrity. But so like, how do I let you know that I really like what you're doing, but also that I'm cool? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Be
we're
like, hey,
cool.
nice
We're
to
like-
meet you. Sign my bicep.
We could
please.
be, we could be friends probably. Like,
No chance. I'm sorry.
Spill a coffee down his leg.
We got a long way to go.
yeah. But yeah, that was super cool, and also just being able to ask them questions
Yeah.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. They're real people, which is crazy.
It's true.
Because they
Yep.
don't seem like it sometimes. And then it's like, oh, you're a real person. And if I spill coffee on you, it hurts.
Does that not?
Bleed. I just had to check. Okay, I had to be sure.
What
Yeah.
is wrong with
I
us?
feel like it was really. I was thoroughly whelmed, thoroughly stimulated by that room. It was bright. It was loud. There was a lot going on. There was a lot to
Oh, yeah.
see. A lot of brands.
there was a lot of
But it was cool.
like just regular people experiencing, a lot of companies presenting, a lot of people showcasing new gear, new equipment, and a lot of just plain old salesmen who really don't care that much about coffee,
that's
unfortunately. But
one thing that I was interested to see was the mix of people, because you got
Yeah.
like the tatted up, pierced up baristas there.
yeah,
And
The
then you've
cold,
got
hard
like,
front of the lines.
and then you've got like 50, 60-year-old salesmen.
yeah,
And then also just like farmers from
producers,
Africa,
growers.
South America.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get if you walk up to a random person and start talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, you just have
And
no
so
idea.
it was just such
Which is
a
pretty sweet.
diverse group of people.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
awesome to have that wide range of people in one room. A
Yeah.
very large room, mind you, but
Yeah. It was just kind of unexpected.
yeah,
I expected maybe everybody to kind of be not necessarily to be like us, but just to be in a similar like area of coffee. Do you know what I mean by that? And then there was just
Yeah.
such a variety,
Yeah.
like more than I was expecting. So that was cool.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm curious, what was probably your favorite product that you were able to engage with?
Oh, okay.
I know Jack's answer.
Product?
Yeah.
All right. The Fellow Espresso Series 1.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Look at that thing. Like, that thing's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I had to fight with everything in me not to buy it right then and there.
Yeah.
Even though what you would reserve it and you get it, I think they said it's shipping before the winter holidays, so you're gonna be waiting a while.
Yeah.
That's a long time to not have your cash money,
Yep.
But
I guess that's when I'll expect to get mine.
it's really cool to. What did you get one?
Nick won
Well,
the toss.
I don't know if you
game.
guys know this, but yeah, I mean, why would you know this? They had a ring toss game, basically with some straw. Like they had their tumblers, and some of them had straws. And
It's
you
like
had
those
a ring on a
rigged
straw.
carnival games, you know?
It was rigged, except I totally nailed it. I didn't know what it was for. Just like ringed it up.
You didn't even know what it was for?
I didn't know what it was for.
That's probably
And
the
it
key.
entered.
I was overthinking it because I
and
knew what it was
Jack
for.
was so
and
nervous.
so I did it,
I was.
and
Hands
I
were
was like,
sweaty.
"What do I get?" And they're like, "You get an entry into the raffle to win a Series 1."
That's crazy.
I was like, "Okay, that's kind of hype." I was like, "There's
Yeah.
like a lot of people in this," and this was like the third day when I did this, and they're like, "There's only been like 40 people that have gotten in."
That's
and I was like, "I like those chances. I like
Yeah.
those odds
For free, too.
And so I was like, "Hey guys, you guys should all do it," and they all did it.
You should have not told
And
us
we,
what it was for.
All missed.
Everybody missed.
I was like trembling. I was like,
To be fair, so did hundreds
It
of
was
other people.
it was hard. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
hard.
I mean,
And
like,
I don't
what-
want to say that I got lucky because it was like 98% skill, but there was like a
No
2% luck that
shot.
out of here.
it was just
you
like
did not.
I
You did
could-
the calculations.
I could do that
You
100
just
times
throw and
over.
pray. That was all you could do. Because mine hit
It's just
the
a natural
mugs
gifting.
every time, and they just jumped right out.
Yeah, it's that bounce.
That's the thing.
You
I
gotta
didn't
get
hit the
angle.
mug, buddy. I hooked on the straw.
Even
Help.
if you do, it could bounce off.
It's a whole strategy thing.
Anyway, Nick is convinced that he's won a fellow Espresso Series 1.
I'm gonna get it, it's mine.
I think that it's been this long and I haven't contacted him.
fellow. I'm just gonna assume that you guys are like, you just got back from Expo. You're probably in a hurry, and like you're giving them out like they're. It's gonna come like near the end of the year, so I wouldn't expect you to have emailed me yet. But just so you know, I'm checking my inbox whenever you want to send that out. But yes, it
Help
was-
a fellow out.
Yeah, help a fellow out.
And if Nick didn't win,
That's-
feel free to
You
send
guys
us
listening,
one.
That's actually a really good catchphrase you could use.
If Nick didn't win, or if he did win, feel free to send us
Yeah,
one.
if
We'd
you
love
wanna-
to make a product
Yeah,
review
we
of
can
it.
make a Lance Hedrick quality video.
No, we
just
cannot.
Better than that.
evaluating it.
No, we cannot.
Better.
Better?
Yeah.
No.
Jack is saying that with full confidence. right
Jack,
now.
have you watched a lot of Lance's videos?
I haven't watched any of his. So I will watch them and
So
then I'll figure out how to
Jack
make them better.
is full of crap.
No, I mean,
no, Jack is a great videographer. I will say that, but I am not a great subject. Not as good.
we're
as
gonna
Lance.
do
Anyway,
we're gonna do one of those like tear down videos where you like absolutely just tear
it's just
the
like
crap
wrench
apart.
parts off of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, it was cool to see that in person. It was,
Yes.
I will say I had some questions about it that were answered in just looking at it.
Yeah.
It was also great to meet Nick.
Yep.
He's the chief product designer.
He's head of R&D,
Oh, head of R&D. That's right.
research and development. Yeah.
Head of R&D, research and development at Fellow. So he does a lot of the product design and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was just standing there.
I think that machine was his baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
his
yeah,
brainchild.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff.
So
It was great to meet him.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some stuff from him before. I've followed him for a little while. Didn't know what he was like at all. He was really nice.
Yeah.
Did you get
Oh,
a
yeah.
chance to interact with him at all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did when we
Yeah.
gave him some coffee. But
I
before
for
that,
some
yeah.
reason always think those people.
It's those
that-
people with like the big beards and like covered in tattoos, and it's like this person's like.
You would think they'd be like intimidating or like that. Like,
Intimidating,
why
or-
are you talking to me?
Well, especially since
you
they have
know,
every right to be, right?
Yeah.
Like
they're like,
he's kind of a big deal.
you
How
should
dare you
like.
speak
Why
to
are
me?
you asking me? I don't know.
Yeah, but he was just
So-
he was super nice, and he was really excited about his project.
Oh yeah.
And that made
As he
me more
should be.
excited about it too.
Yeah.
Like, because I came in with some hesitancies towards it.
Yeah.
And just like hearing how excited he was and passionate about what he was
So
selling. It's
let's
Fine, I'll
talk
get
about
one.
this for a little bit. Like, what do we think of the price point? Because I know that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are curious and they may not know exactly what you're getting, like what the value is. It seems kind of pricey. What for $1,500 retail?
yeah.
What does it? What do you guys think?
I'll say before it came out, I predicted a much lower price because I was like, okay, if we're looking at their competition, which is largely Breville,
Yep.
right? If they want to hit that market and they want to be competitive, then they should hit this price.
Yes.
And it was much more than I thought. But upon understanding the machine more and seeing actually what's packed into it, not just for coffee enthusiasts, but its ability to walk somebody who really has no idea what they're doing through making great coffee, it seems like a really affordable price
Yeah.
for actually what's in it.
Yeah.
because at first I thought it was competing with Breville, and it's like, oh no, this isn't competing. This isn't competing with Breville's base machines. This is competing with much nicer machines.
Those
right?
like $3,000 to $5,000 machines.
This is maybe even like, not that it is fully to the level of like a decent espresso machine, because those are a lot more nerd oriented.
Yeah.
They have a lot more data and stuff, but it's maybe more comparable to that style of machine than it is actually to a Breville. So for the class that it's in and the price that it's at is really affordable.
Yeah. I will say this is probably one of the, and personally, I think this is one of the most beautiful home espresso machines I've ever seen. Besides, like maybe the Slayer single group, but like that's what, $11,000.
Yeah,
that's kind of like.
And I might like more classic Italian style machines. So the modern look isn't necessarily my thing, but I do appreciate
like the
design.
Now I wish that they offered it in black with a walnut handle, because I love the walnut handle, but I'm not a fan of the red shell.
Yeah.
Probably come later.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the machine?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
Are you going to get one?
I trust your opinion more than I'd advise viewers to trust Nick's opinion more than mine, because he's more into the home brewing and espresso line of things than I am, or at least you're more well versed in other espresso machines. I don't really know what other machines exactly are offering. So, but at first glance, not even at first glance, after seeing it at Expo and stuff, it seems like it is definitely like priced well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I was like, oh wow, that's more than I'm like, oh, that's not a competitive price. And then upon understanding the machine, I'm like, oh, that actually is a competitive price.
Yeah, and really, like I was just gonna say, the key words are like pressure profiling, like really sensitive. Sensitive, not the right word, but temperature control, precise temperature control.
Yeah.
Heated group head, like that kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Introduces a brand new boiler system that is more energy efficient. It really gives you almost the advantage that a dual boiler has without that huge energy cost. You can't steam and pull at the same time, but you can steam and pull immediately after.
Yeah.
one another.
To be fair, I can also do that with my Barista Pro Breville. I can immediately finish a shot and then turn on. I mean, it takes a second to like make steam, but so does everything.
That's the biggest qualm.
But even so, yours doesn't have a boiler. So
that's the biggest qualm I have right now with my Breville, is that, you know, I pull a shot and I want to start steaming right away because my shot's just kind of degrading. So I turn the steam wand on. It takes a good 20, 25 seconds before any steam comes out. And then when I do start steaming, it takes 1 to 2 minutes for it to fully steam.
Really?
Whereas this machine, from what I hear, and I got to see a little bit in practice, not the entire time, but it seems that like you can immediately start steaming after pulling a shot, and it only takes about 40 seconds, which slower than commercial machines, but pretty fast.
I love steaming on my Gesha, and I'll pull a shot, and I switch to steam mode, and I actually just start steaming as soon as steam comes out. Like I'll test the steam one instead of when the light tells me to.
Sure.
There's a lot to that, but I do that, and it steams wonderfully. It takes definitely longer than a commercial machine. Steams great. The difficulty is getting back down from steam temp to brew temp to make another shot, because it is one boiler and it's just not a very intuitive system.
Sure.
So something like that, where it's a single boiler but it has like 3 different heating mechanisms for different things, is awesome. So for the coffee nerds, right? Like there's app integration with all of this data, all of this really precise control. Nick was saying that the entire system that's actually in their batch brewer, the Aiden, is in that machine as well.
Nice.
So what do you think, to wrap up the Espresso Series 1 conversation, what do you think the ideal customer is they're going for? Like, for people who are listening, how do they know I am the right person for this machine, or this machine is the right thing for me?
Well, what I was going to say is it has several integrations that are helpful for people that don't know as much. It can coach you on your shots, times, and say, okay, that pulled too long. Try making this adjustment. And it actually has a built-in thermoprobe in the end of the steam wand. And so it will tell you, you set the temperature that you want your milk. You can manually steam. You can make your texture however you want, but it'll actually stop it at the appropriate temperature. which is cool. So I think that machine is for anybody who, whether or not you are a pro or a beginner, a person who just wants to elevate what they're doing and just get consistently good coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
And this is a great machine that like you can get it and you can start using it right out the box. It doesn't require a lot of experience as far as like espresso machines go. Obviously you have to have some experience when it comes to espresso, but it offers a level of like, you know, it works right away, but you can learn more and more and just take more control over the machine manually.
It's a machine that can kind of grow with you. It seems like.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see once it actually comes out and it becomes used, like
For
people
sure.
are using
Definitely.
it. There's a certain thing with pre-orders and new stuff, but it seems...
Yeah,
it seems
I would
like
definitely love to see it in action.
It seems like it's kicking off kind of the future of home espresso in what it's doing. So...
Beautiful.
Yeah. What about you? What was your favorite piece of machinery to check out?
Well, the thing I was most interested in is the Chiato E37Z Barista. That's a long name. Grinders, because that's what I'm...
And that's an espresso grinder?
Yeah, because that's what I'm looking for our cafes right now. So that's what I was going into it being the most interested in, and that's probably what I came out the most interested in. Although I also was very interested in getting a close-up look at mod bar espresso machines because I have never been able to see one that close and actually be able to use it, which was cool.
Yeah. And you liked it?
Yeah, I didn't get to use it enough to be like...
Put this under my bar right now.
Yeah, well...
That's a significant
I
investment.
mean, I trust La Marzocco, and I see it at enough cafes where I think it would... I trust that it's quality. But yeah, I guess I haven't been able to quite form an opinion as far as like, because I only got to taste like 2 shots from it. So, you know, the one thing I'd say, I don't know if anybody cares about this because you're not going to put a mod bar in your house unless you are.
That'd be fire.
I don't think they would.
No, nice.
Maybe they would let you do. They're kind of sticklers about who gets to have a mod bar.
What's that one car company?
I mean, that just
Ferrari?
that just shows that
Ferrari
you care.
espresso machine,
In
yes.
part, it just shows that you care about your product and it being used
Yeah.
properly, because you don't want people that aren't.
I mean,
that shouldn't have it to have it and then hate it.
Right, it's just going to do worse things for your brand
Yeah.
if people are messing it up.
Yeah.
Like
and,
I'm not
hating on it.
gonna recommend, you know, certain coaffies to somebody who just wants a batch.
I've seen quite a bit of mod bars. I've never seen one that's like, what am I trying to say? I feel like I've seen a lot of espresso machines that start to become, what am I trying to say here? At like run down places, and the espresso machine starts to become like not as efficient or doesn't look as great, doesn't work as great. I feel like that's
geriatric.
Yeah, sure. I've never seen a spot where mod bar isn't always feel like pristine looking, and maybe that's just due to the design.
It's because it almost doesn't exist on your counter.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
But like that just goes to show that they care as to where their product is.
I was also interested in the roasters and stuff too, but
Yes,
I kind of
that's
quickly
another thing.
fell out of the conversation because I only know so much about roasting. So I was following as best I could, but like when we started to talk about like why one might be better than the other and for different use cases, it doesn't mean as much to me because I have nothing to relate it to.
You kind of have to back up and let Jack and Dan actually hear instead.
Yeah,
of
because
standing
like this is
away,
more
which is what I did
important.
too.
My ears don't need to hear this as much as they do. So
Yeah,
but
It was really
it's
cool to
interesting
see
to learn about them.
The big roaster.
your
'cause,
knuckles.
You know, yeah, that confused me.
What?
Yeah.
it was just what the
we were looking at
salesmen were saying.
that was at the Loring booth, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
The Loring
making fun
salesman,
of Diedrich or
they were
something?
just saying that it's hard to clean a Diedrich, and
Which
so
is weird.
Whenever Jack
at
said
Mundo's
that,
we
he's
have
like,
a
"Oh, your knuckles."
we currently have a Diedrich IR12 at Mundo's. Been roasting on that bad boy for
8 years.
8 years.
Come on,
and
9.
it's
Nick's got to answer that for you, bro.
a great machine, and it's tried and true. We're just kind of maxing out capacity, so that's why we were really interested in looking
We are
at these
capacity
roasters.
maxing right now.
And
We are max pacitized.
yes, and a lot of these roasters have significant lead time, so we need to know what we want in advance, essentially, to get them. Because we're looking at Probat from Germany, and that would take a while to get here.
Tariffs.
And then that is one thing you do have to consider is that anything coming overseas is going to be affected by price.
And they don't
Or
really
by
talk
tariffs.
about that right away.
No, they don't. I mean,
well into the conversation, then you start talking about tariffs, and it's like, whoa, this changes a lot.
It's changing a lot for a lot of people in coffee, whether
yeah.
it's green or just equipment.
because I mean, you
All
know,
that stuff. It's
certain things. I mean, for just coffee, you can't even grow very much coffee in the United States.
No.
So that means that's going to go up.
and Hawaiian coffee
It already is
is
overpriced.
mid.
I don't know that I feel like maybe I've had it. I mean, I didn't have it at the booth, but like that was a one roasted coffee.
It wasn't
horrible.
It wasn't roasted to its potential.
No,
Sure.
I liked the Australian coffee I had better than the Hawaiian coffee.
Yeah, we had Australian coffee. I didn't know that they grow coffee down there.
I was like, okay, good day, mate. I didn't know.
You need to work on that accent a little bit. But anyway, it was cool to see the roasters. We looked at Probat. We looked at Loring. We looked at San Franciscan. And it was a lot to take in. Very, very expensive investment, I will say. Those big machines. Once you jump up from a 12-kilogram machine up to those large production roasters, they become extremely expensive.
Yeah.
But you can roast a lot more coffee,
Yeah, you can.
we're going to need that.
And ideally increase your consistency too.
Yeah.
Should be great, especially when you get larger and larger batches.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhat briefly, because I think there's other more valuable things to talk about, but I want to know, like, what was your guys' favorite coffee you had? Like, if there's just a standout coffee experience
Okay.
that you tasted.
Like brewed coffee.
Yeah.
You can go ahead. I have to think about it.
The best coffee that I had at Expo was actually the espresso pulled on Mod Bar that Chad had dialed in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't get to taste that.
It was something from Day Glow.
Oh, was that Pepe Jones?
Yep.
Ooh, was it
Ooh,
Pepe Jones?
shout out Pepe Jones.
Yeah, it was that box that said,
Oh,
what do they call that?
I would have loved to try that.
Chef's table,
Yep.
and it was two different coffees from the same farmer.
Yeah.
It was, and he was pulling, what was he doing?
18 and
18 and
40 something?
18
45?
and 45.
So it was,
And it was like peachy and
That was so
glorious, and like the finish was just incredible, and I wanted more, and I
So
couldn't. And
Mod
then
Bars-
I asked him questions so I could learn a little more about it. So we adjusted his recipe that he had,
And it wasn't
then
as
I
good?
ruined it.
You were like,
And
please go back.
That's what I had to leave on my taste buds was a really bad shot.
Yeah.
And only in memory is the that wonderful shot. That was
Shoot.
probably the best. But there's a lot of good coffee. There's also surprisingly a lot of not good coffee there. But
That's true.
That espresso shot was like probably it hit me as most memorable.
Speaking of bad coffee, we were walking by one roasting booth. I don't even know who it was, but they just had in the cooling bin the darkest roast you have ever seen. It was just very.
It was
very
just
offensive to me.
black, and
Like, there was
they
no
were just
color.
sitting there like smug sons of guns.
They're like, look at this roaster.
Right.
It can burn your coffee. Yeah,
It's
okay.
it's like
my
a toddler that
oven
just
can do
pooped
that.
on the ground and he's just staring at you. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Brutal
about it?
accusation right
but-
now.
but here-
No,
but here- okay.
that's what it felt like. It's like, I'm just gonna
I mean,
crap
did you see,
in the
did
middle
you
of your
see Lance
expo.
taking a photo
Yeah,
of
I
it?
did. And Jack took some pictures.
I took a
too.
photo of it before, and I saw him walk by and take it. Yeah, he's probably doing the same thing,
It's
making
like,
fun of
why-
his coffee.
And that was right on the main highway.
Oh, yeah.
of
I'm gonna go to the
Expo.
I'm gonna go to the Specialty Coffee Expo and absolutely burn the crap out of this
Well, okay,
stuff.
okay, hear me out. I know some people like dark roasted coffee, and I still think you're wrong, but
Jack's grabbed his mic, so he's
like
passionate.
there's you can still have dark roasted coffee that has a tiny bit of flavor,
some
and some
flavor.
color to it, maybe.
Yeah.
But this was like black, like it was literally. I feel like if you picked up the bean, it would have turned to ash. It was that dark.
There's nothing there.
It's probably so light.
Yeah.
12 ounces of beans is like that's crazy.
Yeah, that was funny to see.
Yeah.
And yeah, nobody was talking to them.
No, I mean,
Makes me kind of sad.
I think any roaster can dark roast coffee, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's what people were interested
Yeah,
in.
it's like I'm probably not.
Well,
gonna
that
buy
wasn't
it.
even dark roast. So
Yeah, that
it was beyond.
whatever is past
yeah.
that's what it looked like to me.
obsidian.
And every day we went there, it was this. I don't know if it was they were just
I
continually
think that
roasting
they
coffee.
I think that
or
they
it
just
was-
burnt some coffee and then they were just spinning it in the hopper for the look of it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Very consistent color, though. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
it was all black.
I mean, hey, that's why big brands do dark roast. You can get consistency that way.
You're like, oh,
Consistently
this is
burnt.
always going to taste
The
like
same.
a
if you don't care about, you don't care about
Edge of my seat there.
like the individual flavors of single origins or any of those differences, then yeah, dark roast all of your coffee. It'll taste the same if it's from Central America or Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What was your...
You should start calling them terroirists. I just coined that term.
That's crazy.
I don't
it's
think
hard
you're
enough
quite
to say
on that.
terroir already. What was your favorite product you saw?
I still like that. I'm still on that term. I just came up with that in my head. Anyway,
Off the dome?
off the dome. That's just a glimpse of what's rolling around in this sucker all the time. If you want any more good ideas, just reach out.
No, please.
You don't even have to reach out. He'll just tell you.
Yeah.
That's
What
true.
was your question?
What was your favorite?
Oh.
You asked us.
Yeah. The Eugenioides at Corvus. I really like that. I don't know if you guys, what you guys thought of that.
Coffee.
It was really good.
Yes, really good.
I was kind of sick that morning, so like, I wasn't tasting that well, but I could still I could still enjoy the coffee.
Yeah.
But it was extremely flavorful for a washed coffee. Was that not?
Yeah, it was really good. The reason why I didn't choose that as my favorite is just because it didn't have the level of like complexity that I'm normally
which
looking
I didn't
for.
get to taste this
It was very soft.
divine espresso
Like
that
it
you
was,
had.
it was very soft, which is like I think a lot of people are looking for. Like bitterness, what, where?
There was
It's not
none.
there.
Yeah.
Were you there when
It
we
was
got
really
pulled
complex.
into that cupping at the? It was in the Roaster Village. This Colombian.
Yes,
you-
you guys went and did that.
You, Adam, were you there for
everybody
that?
was dipping their spoons into
Not-
the same,
not in Roaster.
Like, yes,
Oh, wait.
It was right
yes, you
outside
did
of
that.
Roaster's Village.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
roasted.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody was like, it was like classic
Yeah, I
pre-COVID
was like-
cupping, and so I was like,
I did 2 cuppings there, and one was like post-COVID cupping for sure. There was you pulled some coffee out, you put it in your paper cup, and then you slurp from your paper cup.
Yeah.
But then this other one, they were just like, I was like looking around to see like, where's my cup? How do I? And people are just like slurping the spoon, setting it back down. Next person's grabbing the same
dipping
spoon.
it into the next bowl. Same spoon.
Oh wait, no, not the
different
same spoon.
spoons,
Not the same
different
spoon.
spoons.
Everybody,
Although-
different spoons, but they were
different
dipping
spoons.
in the same
Yeah,
bowl.
In the same bowl, they were dipping and then using the same spoon in the next bowl.
I'm-
I'm fine with that. Like that's, but I was like, that's different.
I mentioned that only because a couple of those coffees on the table were wild. Like they didn't label them as co-fermented, but I was sure that one of them was co-fermented with some sort of grapefruit
You're
or
lying to me.
something. It was so fruity.
Yeah.
Like it was just a juice.
I had 2 co-ferments. Did you guys have any co-ferments?
Not that I know of. Maybe I did unwillingly.
Yeah, Jack would not willingly have.
I
co-ferment.
would. I would try.
Yeah, I'm not like super like, yeah, let's co-ferment stuff, because it's not as true or genuine, I don't think, and I don't really enjoy that quite as much. But one
You
was
get Jack pilled.
What?
You got Jack pilled. You're like fully.
I've always been hesitant towards
Oh.
co-ferments and not really preferring them.
I
but I'm
think
not
that
gonna
Nick-
I'm
when
not
we
gonna
were
be
talking
like,
about that, Nick
if
was
you
just playing devil's
co-ferment
advocate
coffee,
there.
you are the worst person that was
Well,
ever born
I
on
might
this
say
planet.
that.
That's what Jack said.
No.
Jack said that, guys.
No.
That cannot be good for the industry.
No, that's not true. Anyway,
You guys do
I had
what you
I had a co-ferment at Valor, which kind of like knocked my socks off. So their importer that they're working with is somebody who is they are trying to get young people into coffee in Colombia, because it's kind of
You talking about
Colombia-
that most recent episode?
yes,
I just listened to that on the way home.
it was really cool. But but young people in coffee in Colombia is starting to kind of die out.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get young people interested in coffee as a career. And one way that you can increase the value of a cheaper crop is by co-fermenting.
Sure.
I think that co-fermenting is, there's a lot to that, but I think that maybe that's a cool way to increase the value of a lower value crop, but plan on producing a more valuable crop in the future.
See,
But you kind of have to work with what you have.
Yeah, it's not what we're talking about.
It's not the point of it. Anyway, so that was something that they were excited about because they got to help and be a part of this process of co-fermentation. And one coffee they were offering was from somebody that they met, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
It was co-fermented with dried grapes and wine yeast.
Wine yeast?
Yes. And it was crazy. It was the craziest coffee I've ever tasted. It smelled.
Was that the booth?
It was at their booth. Yeah, they were
Where
offering
was
it on
I?
the second day. It smelled like grape soda, straight up. Like
in a good
grape
way? Because I
soda.
hate grape soda.
also hate grape soda. I think that if I liked grape soda, it would have been like a dessert to me because it smelled and tasted like grape soda. It was kind of wild. So in some ways it was good, but I don't like grape soda.
Yeah.
And so I didn't love it, but I do think like there's a lot of people that like that, and they probably would have really enjoyed it because it was very desserty. It almost made me like wondering, like, I wonder if there's a way, like a coffee like this, that you could incorporate that in some sort of drink, like as an ingredient. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I mean, imagine a small cappuccino-sized drink with grape soda tasting espresso. You know, like there's maybe something fun that you could do with that.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And then there were, Onyx was serving a co-ferment the last day with lychee. It was what the robot was brewing.
Is that how you pronounce it?
No, it's not. That's how you spell it. I have no idea how to say it.
I've heard somebody say...
I keep hearing people how to say it, and I can't
Is
remember.
that tiny?
Lish?
Is that tiny citrus?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. No, I've heard it all. It's on the tasting wheel.
I'm pretty sure it's a tiny little citrus, but actually I don't know.
I've heard leash.
Leash? It might be.
Like leech, but like with an SH. Leash.
Bear said something like that
Oh, he didn't catch
when he gave it to me, but I cannot remember what he said. So they had like a robot arm brewing 3 pour overs, and Bear said that it was actually pouring in Alika's pour pattern.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Like, is there something that like, how do you program that? You just like,
just code. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple.
I mean,
and,
I understand
and like
how
Alika,
you do it.
Alika obviously has a very dialed in pour pattern because he's a champion.
Pour master.
So like you do these kinds of things very meticulously. And so I'm sure that just his kind of styled pour, they just were like programmed the robot to pour that same way. But that was actually good. That one was good. I actually enjoyed that. It was very close to the taste of a classic coffee. That's one where like if I tasted it, I wouldn't know. So I think that transparency is important on that.
Yeah.
But that one was like good, refreshing. I would love to maybe have a coffee like that, like flash pour over, like treat that a little bit more like I don't know. Do you know what I mean by that though? Like it's not like it's like, oh, I want a really great pour over. I'm going to have this co-ferment with leash.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want a nice refreshing iced like flash pour over. Let me have it with this co-fermented coffee.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like treat it a little bit more
my
like
thought is
a
like
treat drink.
Can you achieve the same flavors by just adding that flavor after?
I don't think so, but maybe to an extent.
Sure.
It's going to be different, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it was interesting to try those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we have any sort of timer? Do we know when we're going to be out of time or anything like that?
For an hour and 3 minutes.
Wow.
But obviously we had a little bit of time before we actually started talking.
So we got some time to go.
Also,
still.
we
5
took
minutes?
about 45 minutes.
You said 10 minutes.
Before we even got to Expo.
We've been,
discussion.
I would say, like a total 55-minute length.
Okay, I just don't want to. I just don't want like our thing to stop recording and us not realize.
Oh no, we've got an extra 30 minutes easily.
Okay, because there were some actually important things that I mean, not that
Yeah.
what we talked about wasn't important, but I feel like there was some maybe.
If you've been
depth that
listening
we could go
until
into.
now, we're just now getting to the important stuff.
There's
so.
honestly a lot to talk about, which
Yeah.
is why hopefully next podcast we'll be able to break down Expo a little bit more
Expo
with
Part 2.
with Ben Martin.
Yeah.
We'll see if he said he should be able to do it.
He's
If
a
not,
busy
though,
guy.
maybe we'll just break it down just ourselves. But
Break it down.
okay, so as far as getting in, what are some things that you guys like learned?
Well, I mean, I had something, and it just kind of flew away.
Yeah, great. Okay, Adam,
So-
go.
Well, I feel like I learned a lot, but I feel like to sum it all up, the number one thing I learned was that it's the growing in the industry is a lot more about relationships than it is anything else.
Yeah.
And those relationships are not as they don't have to be as far away as they seem, I guess. Like trying to think of a better way to put this. Yeah, I guess when you like just talking to all these people here, I realized that a lot of like growth and a lot of I guess like if you want to go after something and you want to partner with somebody else, you have to build a relationship with them. So yeah. And I learned a little bit about like talking to people, especially other people in the industry, like
Just how to socialize.
I learned how to socialize a little bit, because it's like I think like if you want to get something from somebody, which is not always about just getting something from somebody, sometimes it's just about conversation. Yeah. But if you want to get something out of somebody, sell them something or build a relationship or whatever, you also have to make sure that they want something from you. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. And the most productive conversations happen when it's like you almost like have to make it so that they want the relationship just as much as you want it. So it's like, am I offering something that actually benefits you want as much as I want what you have to offer?
Yeah, sure. And it's not just in a transactional relationship way, but more so in the way of being a generous and giving person. And like, even in the style of your conversation, not being like, hey, give me information, give me this, but offering information, offering things in conversation, I think is just a good stature of the kind of person to be. Right. Like there's a lot of people that when you're talking to them, they just want from you, and just to be a person that kind of gives to people in conversation is how you actually build relationships. And
I mean, why like try to have a partnership with somebody if it's not mutually beneficial? So I kind of learned that just in the different coffee professionals I talked to. I kind of like continued to pick that up as like, wow, a lot of this is about like a lot of this is just about partnership, and we both need to benefit from this. So just practically speaking, if we want to move our business in a certain way, we've got to think from other people's perspective. Like, are we helping?
Are we actually benefiting them?
Yeah. Are we actually benefiting them? Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down 3 things that I learned. So I'll just kind of say what I wrote down, and then we can talk about it. 1, not everyone is passionate. We're better than we think, and we have a lot of room to grow. So to break down that, not everyone is passionate. I think that I noticed going in there, I was expecting to have a lot of people that love coffee as much as us. And there were a great deal of people that love coffee as much as us. Yep. But there also were a lot of people that were just there to do business.
Oh, yeah.
And recognizing, okay, who is actually here because they truly care about what we're doing, and who's here just to make money off of us. Yeah. That determines who you want to partner with, right? Oh, yeah. Right. I think we noticed that, especially with, say, the water people, right? Those large water companies, they sell water to everybody. Yeah. Right? Their salesmen are not passionate about coffee, and they're going to try and sell you their water, whether or not it's actually the best for your company or your coffee.
That's what I mean. That's one number one things I learned.
Recognizing that with companies like packaging, cups, even some of the roasting companies. I mean, that spinning those black somethings around in that drum was evidence of that. Like, these people aren't passionate about what we're passionate about. Yeah. They're just trying to sell us a roaster, you know? Yeah. So recognizing that was interesting. Mm-hmm. I think we're better than we think. I think
is that we Mundos? Or
yes,
is it,
yes, we as in Mundos. I think that we, not that we don't believe in our brand or product, but just seeing us stacked up against other people. Right, we're there, it's kind of our first time being there, so we didn't do a lot. But just tasting everybody's coffees, seeing what they have going on, I think that we are, if I had to put us with who's our competition or who we're on the playing field with, I would put us with those people that are serving really excellent coffee. I think that there were few people there that actually were serving coffees that were better than actually what we're offering right now, and even fewer that had consistently better coffee offerings than what we're offering right now. I don't want to trash on anybody, because everybody there was doing great stuff, but
everybody?
Not everybody there, but many people there were doing great stuff. And so I'm not going to say, oh, this person, I think that we're better than. It's not coming out of arrogance. And I think more so just coming out of we should be confident in what we're doing because
Yeah.
it's like, man, like, okay, we actually like, we are competing, we are offering on the level of these big companies that we want to be like
Yeah.
these companies that we look up to, right? Like maybe we should just, maybe we're looking less up to them than we think. And it's kind of,
Sure. I mean, one thing, you do have to take everything we had there with a grain of salt because
sure.
these people are working outside of their
Yes.
normal conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Just
the
like-
water is
100%.
unusual. The just environment, you have to make some compromises.
yes, for sure. But I do think that just in some ways is like, okay, like I actually, right? Like I know that what we're doing is good, but it was reassuring to be like,
Yeah.
what we're doing is really good,
Mhm.
you know? And then
Yeah.
to kind of contrast that, just recognizing that we have a lot of room to grow
Yeah.
too. And so we can see these places and it's like, man, right? Like I think say there's a place where like, man, our coffee is just as good as theirs,
Mm-hmm.
but man, they're doing this stuff better, like certain stuff better. Right.
Mhm.
And recognizing what those areas
Yeah.
are.
And that's one thing that like it can easily overwhelm you. The
Yeah.
amount of things that like, oh, I need to do this, and that. But that's one thing that excites me, and that's why I love going to things like this coffee expo is learning what other people do,
Yeah.
how they do things, and how we can do better.
Yeah, just get your fingers on the pulse of
Yeah.
what's happening in the world of specialty coffee because we're kind of isolated up in Traverse City.
And on your last point, it's kind of like we're kind of like you said, isolated in Traverse City, where like we are doing specialty coffee very well,
Mhm.
but it's kind of not a lot of people to compare it to.
Yes.
So it's very nice to see where we're at.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, and I don't want to sound arrogant at all. That's not the intention.
Mhm.
I just want to. I think it's good for us to recognize that's like we are offering something that is competitive
Yeah.
in it's the United States Expo. So in the United States, right, at least, right,
Yeah.
like we're seeing some of the best shops represented here, and it's like I think we're maybe not 100%, but we're stacking up in some
Yeah.
areas, and that's I think important to recognize to
Yeah.
kind of give us that confidence.
Yeah.
So, what is something that you guys want to, and we've kind of talked about this in some things, but what's something that you kind of want to take away and apply from this experience?
Well, I would say for like next year's expo to figure out how to,
How to show up.
yeah, really want to have our own booth, brew some coffee there, and just have a larger presence there, just to like, for one, learn more, and to also kind of share our brand with other people.
Yeah.
I guess can you say your question again?
Just what's something that you like want to take away and apply that you gained from that?
I mean, my number one thing that you talk about how we need to grow, and like I think that our number one area of growth is in relationships with other people.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like you said, I think we do a lot of things right, and we are always trying to improve. So it's not about the next new grinder or espresso machine or innovation in tech, but it's like
Those are the easy things for us to do.
Yes, because I think we have the coffee science down, like not perfect, but down, and we're always improving. But I think that I just really walked away realizing like this is way more about people, and that's hard for me because I don't naturally connect with people. I have to actively, I have to be proactive about how I'm reaching out to people, even though I always greatly benefit from talking to people and connecting, but I don't, that's not my natural tendency.
We're all just a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
You know, just
I
a
mean,
little bit.
I'd say
I realize that more than ever at Expo.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like, ooh, I think that whole situation was my fault.
Did I really just say that? Yeah. Very
Why am I
out of
sweating?
body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. But I mean, I will say, like, you are really good at it, at talking with other people. And I think we all are pretty good at it, but it's just difficult to overcome that barrier of like, I mean, honest, just nervousness of like, what are they going to think? What if I mess this up?
Well, and I could probably live the rest of my life with just the group of friends that I have now.
Sure, yeah.
It's just not my natural tendency to expand that group.
Yeah.
But it's good for me, and it's good for
Oh, yeah.
the coffee business, the coffee industry. You're not going anywhere unless
No.
you are making friends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's real. I also wrote down 3 things to answer that question.
All right.
So, and I think some of these are overlap.
over-prepared.
Well, I
We're
asked.
underprepared.
There's a handful of things that significant moments from the trip that I
Nick's
actually
the only
didn't
one here
mention.
doing homework.
Um,
No.
like, the live podcast. That was cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Um,
That was cool. Cafe Imports did a live podcast.
Yep. It's gonna be posted on
fire.
Cat and Cloud's podcast.
Okay.
On their channel.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for that to come out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was hosted by Cafe
So
Imports.
it's
That was
not
super
live.
cool. Well, it was live.
We were there.
It was a live podcast.
Do you remember?
But it hasn't been posted yet.
By live, they mean like live crowd, like
Yeah.
live audience, not necessarily like
Well,
posted.
you're always
live.
living when you're doing a podcast.
Bro. Okay.
Live audience, like
This is a live podcast right now.
Right here
For
is
you.
not a live podcast because there's nobody else here besides our producer Jack.
I'm
Obviously,
thoroughly confused.
The
But-
event was the live podcast, but the podcast will not be live when it's posted. Anyway,
Yeah.
Cat and Cloud's going to post it, I think probably next week or something
Fire.
like that, if I had to guess.
Oh,
Also,
I get it now.
if any
so
of
it's
you
about-
guys follow Jimmy the Barista, let me know if you see me show up in one of his videos because I did a hot take. It may not have been good enough to show up at all, but
Yeah, not
who
with
knows?
Master Chief. Master Chief was on, and so you're definitely getting bumped.
Ah,
Anyway,
Can't
so that
believe
was
that.
super cool. They talked about the just the change in green coffee
Mm-hmm.
buying. If you're interested in that, go check it out.
yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Anyway, we brewed some coffee at Ally's booth. That
Yes,
was
we
an
did.
interesting learning experience.
Yes.
I don't think we necessarily have time to get into that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it with Ben because he works there.
Yep,
So.
but that was cool as well. So anyway, the 3 things that I want to apply. One is to proceed in confidence,
Mm.
right? And I think that kind of ties into the first thing, or the second thing is just like, I think that kind of was in some areas a confidence boost,
Yeah.
right?
We're doing
It's
a great
like,
thing.
It's like we're doing good, right? Like we're looking at all these other places, and it's like you're isolated. You don't really know if you're doing things right, and you can kind of see everybody else, and you're like, oh, so like we are doing things right. Like let's have some confidence in our brand, in our company, in our people. Be confident that we can talk to and engage with these people that we see as like way above us, but
Yeah.
almost pulled a Musk there. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, what were you?
that we see as above us, obviously in humility, but just have some confidence
Yeah.
in ourselves and in our company. An opportunity to solidify and refine our systems, whether that's in the wholesale department, whether that's in our bar flow, whether that's in our training, right? All of this stuff, because we've seen what everybody else is doing, and we see all these little things that we can take from and pick. And it's like, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Like, and use all of those to really tighten up
Yeah.
our base lines so that we can build off of that. I think that's something that we all want,
Yeah.
and something that I think was a valuable takeaway from seeing other places.
Absolutely.
And part of that is the third thing is just strengthening our team. I think that, and we talked about this a little bit too, just seeing all these passionate people, you can't help but get excited about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think like, allowing that excitement and passion for what we're doing to, kind of bleed out onto the team. And it does to an extent, but I think we can do more.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can do more to excite our team about what we're excited about, to grow their interest in coffee, to like engage with that curiosity that they have and make it greater. Because when I started at Mundo's, right, I was just interested in coffee, right? I didn't have a palate for it. I didn't know very much, but that's all you need. And I think that we have a lot of people now that are in that same spot, and we're going to have a lot of people that are in that same spot, right? And that's all that you need is the curiosity. Because I remember I didn't really know that much, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't stand to drink espresso at all, and just through tasting and through the interest of you, like your guys' interest in it, right?
Yep.
That grew and exploded, and right, it just grew on, where it was like, oh, I love natural coffees and all
Yeah.
of this stuff. And then it was just like, oh, I can actually tell the difference between a natural and a washed coffee now sometimes. And then just that development over time.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we see in the industry. And it's like, let's bring that home.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
Share that with
Yeah.
our community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should probably get ready to wrap before the camera maxes out
Wraps
the
for us.
Memory card.
Yeah, probably should.
But yeah,
Any final thoughts?
Coffee Expo was great. It'll be World of Coffee next year. What, San Diego?
San Diego.
All right.
Hopefully it's Detroit the year after. Because I'll
That'd be
straight
nice.
up show up for
That'd
that.
be nice.
Cool.
Dude, we go
Be nice
hard.
not to have to go so far away, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it was an
thanks for
awesome
listening.
experience. Oh, you're like wrapping up.
Well, I mean, we got
But I had no choice.
less than 10
yeah.
minutes. so-
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say it was an awesome
Yes.
experience. Glad that we were able to do that. I'm glad that we were able to learn a lot and meet a lot of people.
Mhm.
Like that was super fun.
Yeah.
I think that some of those connections are gonna grow,
Blossom.
and so who knows which ones, but
Hopefully.
hopefully.
Planted some seeds, I guess.
I don't think Lance will ever forget you.
He has no idea it was me. And he'll never see this podcast. And so he never
Dude,
will.
I could send
That's
it
true.
to him.
He
I could
won't.
send him the clip.
He
won't.
got video proof of that happening.
He didn't take
He'd be like,
take our coffee. He won't.
You know that
he won't.
scar you have on your leg? That was me.
We never followed up on the gene situation that Adam mentioned earlier. So, Adam, do you just want to brief? What happened with your jeans?
Yeah, so I bought this brand new pair of Old Navy jeans. I could talk about this for a while. I've been having issues with my pants.
This man cannot. Guys, if you know jeans that last, I don't know what it is about maybe it's his skin condition or something, but he just burns through jeans.
Yeah.
Like, always just, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
this pair of jeans that I bought brand new, first day ripped a massive hole in the back, near the back pocket, super exposed. So I had to
Classy.
keep my shirt pulled down instead of up above my belly button where I normally like it. And so I had to keep it way down. Next day, hole ripped in the front part of my
Oh my
jeans.
gosh. I didn't
Underwear
realize
exposed
that part.
on both sides. Final third day, crotch is ripping apart. There's nothing left. So basically, yeah, throughout the expo, my pants were just degrading.
at a rapid
Rate. And I wasn't doing anything unusual. I bought these pants brand new so I could avoid this exact situation. And
They didn't even last the
basically-
weekend.
Yeah,
You
basically
did-
came home with almost
No, you ended up
nothing.
having to borrow a pair of
I
my
was
pants
wearing
to
his
wear
pants,
home.
But the jeans that I wore home were
You forgot you
much
bought-
lighter than where they were. Well, I don't know if actually I lost anything or if it just kind of ripped, but there's not much left to them at this point.
So I'll say a month ago maybe, I bought 2 pairs of jeans from Old Navy, brand new, some slim fits, right? They were a little tight in the buttocks, as most jeans are on me, but
TMI.
but they started to wear in. Okay, get home.
Shout
from
out
a
Nick's butt.
Shout out. Yeah.
No.
But Old Navy, I have a bone to pick with you, Old Navy. Seriously, I've been buying Old Navy jeans for years because they're just not that expensive and they
Yep.
just worked fine. But anyway, I wore long day roasting, came home. My friend was coming over for dinner, beat me there by a few minutes, came home, and I crouched down to
Yeah.
to do something and immediately just exploded open. And they got extremely breezy. I was like,
Just
okay, that's cool. Those jeans
Usually
are like brand
these
new.
drop out every.
My Usually
Well,
Can I
I
say that?
jalapeno.
so what I will say is
So I go and change. I got a second pair of these jeans. They're just 2 different washes I got, and they start tearing near the pocket still. But I'm like, okay, these are my only pair of jeans. So I'm wearing them every single day. Wore them to Expo, and they didn't tear.
Wow.
But Adams were
Held
degrading. But I washed them as soon as I got home, and they were just ripped open in the wash. So
why are you guys buying the jeans of disintegration?
Dude, they I don't know. They must have
crazy.
gotten like the dissolving thread that they use now or something.
I think here's my theory is like Nick said in the podcast that this whole expo was kind of a boost to our confidence. I think that as my self-confidence increased, I was shedding that anxiety and that lack of confidence
through your
into my
pants.
jeans, and my pants were just falling apart under the weight
Well,
of all
'cause
of
the
that
anxiety
stress that I
can-
normally feel.
Well, I mean, it's probably stress gas. And that was probably what was, because I tell you what, it was
Who's that aura
eating out every
exuding
night.
from you?
It's like I don't know how a pair of pants could have survived that weekend.
That's crazy.
They don't-
I also had a pair of jeans that And this is don't buy. It was online. I saw a name brand pair of jeans. I was like, they're kind of expensive, so I bought the store brand, half the price, right? First day, stepped into the truck, whoosh, right down the crotch.
Dang.
So anyway,
Never bought those jeans ever again.
bunch of big backs.
hopefully you stick around for the post credits
yeah.
scene.
If you guys know of any place that'll just get some good consistent jeans, okay. I would just want a somewhat looser fit, not baggy but looser, and I just want them to not absolutely explode when I bend
you know
over.
what you have to do? Just go thrifting for jeans, because if there's
I
jeans
did.
there,
I actually bought some today.
That means that
from the thrift store.
That means that they've been through some.
I
They've
don't
seen
know.
some
Some
life.
skinny guy could have worn them his whole life, and I'm
That's
just gonna.
true.
We'll see.
Crazy.
Anyway,
crazy. Thanks for
This
listening.
is the real ending. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for sticking around.
See you guys next time.
See you guys next time. Cheers.
Adios.
I like that.